Hello, my name is CJ, and welcome to another glorious manga haul, this time for January, February, and March 2021. Now, before we get started, I wanted to comment on an issue that I might be making a video on later, but for now, I've had a few friends of mine be like, hey, CJ, I want to get into manga collecting. I'm like, wow, that's great. And they have questions. First, how do I get into manga collecting? What series should I own? How many books should I own? And really, when it comes to manga collecting nowadays, after, nearly 10 years of collecting manga, I say it boils down to two simple rules. First, buy what you want. Second, keep what you want. Now, I know this sounds shockingly simple, but it goes a little deep. If you're familiar with a cleaning specialist named Mari Kondo, you might get what I'm throwing down here. Mari Kondo is a cleaning specialist who has a very simple rule. Does it spark joy? In other words, do I want this item? Do I want to keep this item in my home? If the answer is yes, of course, keep the item. If the answer is maybe or no, discard it. Don't keep things that don't absolutely bring you joy. I also take this into account when buying manga. So, for example, you got Jujutsu Kaisen. Do I want this series on my shelf? Yes, of course, it's awesome. Do I want to collect the whole series? No. Huh. Interesting. No, I don't. I kind of thought about it. Like, it's a really good series, and I really like supporting it, but it doesn't bring me absolute joy. Like Chainsaw Man. What a great series. Did you know Chainsaw Man and I, we go way back. I love Chainsaw Man. And I'm going to absolutely buy every single book in this series because it brings me so much joy. I've read Chainsaw Man now probably like 3 times on the Shonen Jump app. Absolutely, I'm getting every single volume in this series. And I feel like a lot of prospective and current manga collectors don't really take this into heart when they're buying manga. Do I really want to own this series? Or am I just collecting it because everybody else is? Buy the manga that's going to bring you joy, that you're going to be proud of to have in your collection. In the same sense, don't keep on to things that don't make you happy. If you feel like you've outgrown a series, or that a series just doesn't make you comfortable anymore, or if you've gotten bored with a series, give it away or sell it. Giving it away especially can make a friend of yours extremely happy, which brings you extra joy with manga collecting. Like, I have this first volume of Saint Tail. This is the first manga I ever read. Yes, ever, even beating out Sailor Moon. And this brings me absolute joy. Even though I feel like I've outgrown this, even though the writing is kind of stale these days, this absolutely brings me joy. So even though this isn't a super popular series for manga YouTubers, I like it because, makes me happy. So I'm gonna keep it, and I'm gonna be proud of it. Anyway, enough said. Let's go ahead and get to the haul. Here are my manga volumes for the first 3 months of 2021. Let's go ahead and get started. First, with Ascendance of a Bookworm. I'll do anything to become a librarian. This is an adaptation of a light novel by the same title. This was a Christmas gift from a friend. Thank you so much. You know who you are. And it's adorable. I mean, can I say more? Look at this. Look at our little cheeks. Oh, she's so cute. But basically, it's an isekai. Of course, it's an isekai. It's about a girl who dies, and she's like, my biggest regret is not being able to read books. I just want to be with books forever. And so she reincarnated into this little girl who lives in a sort of like fantasy medieval society. Unfortunately, it's really medieval, and most of the peasants that she lives with can't read. There are no such things as libraries, and if they are only for the rich, and she has no access to them. So for the duration of these 2 volumes, she still hasn't managed to get her hand on a book yet, but it is very cool. It's neat how she gets around her problems, and I'm not really a fan of isekais. I'm gonna be real. I'm not really into power fantasies in general. What I mean by power fantasy is when a main character just becomes like the special uber chosen one when they're reborn into the next world. I'm just not a big fan of that sort of thing. But I like isekais where it's like this, where the character, instead of being like an uber special chosen one, is instead somebody who has to learn and adapt to their new world. So I may collect more of these volumes. The only problem is they're really hard to get a hold of, and they're really expensive too. So this was published by J Novel Club. And yeah, I would like more, but they're kind of hard to find. Anyway, moving on forward. Ooh, what's this? Ooh, look at all those. Ooh, look at this big Bleach pickup. Now, I should clarify something really quick. I wanted to read Soul Society. I don't know why. I just like woke up one day and was like, I want to read me some Soul Society. And so I went online and I did some math. I was like, okay, do I collect the single volumes of Soul Society or do I go out and get the 3-in-1s? And I determined that it would be cheaper for me to get these 3-in-1s. I think this volume here, this one, and this one are brand spanking new, and then the others are used. We even have like this sticker, like, ooh, 3 books in one, how amazing. Right on Byakuya. So anyway, 3-in-1 volumes to me are pretty hit or miss. Sometimes they can be really good, other times they can be bad. So for these, I'd say these are worth their price. The paper is going to be super thin, kind of newspaper-like quality paper, not that fragile, but almost there. I also really, really like the covers. So the covers are straight up from the original volumes. They've added color to the background. So originally they kind of looked like this where they had a white background. So they added color to the background to make them pop out more. I also like, and I'm just going to show you here with this volume here, you have the other 2 volumes featured on the back. You can see the art very clearly. My boy Hanataro, who does not get enough love, despite being, I think he ranked like 8th place or something in the 1st or 2nd character poll, which is wild. But the author was just like, nah, we're not dealing with him and Ganju anymore. Nah, those guys don't exist. So, but nevertheless, the covers look awesome. The quality's good for the price. I'd say these are worth it. But Bleach. Okay, let me talk about Bleach for a moment, because people say that Bleach gets bad after Soul Society. So if you are a Zoomer, by the way, hi Zoomers to my channel, you guys are amazing. But if you're a Zoomer and you haven't read Bleach, it was a big shonen series back in the mid-2000s. And Bleach made a huge splash on the scene like Naruto and One Piece, but unlike those series, it didn't continue on. It eventually kind of faded out in the mid-2000s and was eventually even canned. I mean, Bleach did not have a good ending like the other 2 series. And people claim that after Soul Society, Bleach got bad. Here's the thing about Bleach. Guys, it was always bad. I hate to say it, but it was. Reading Soul Society now, I can tell you that with confidence. And what I mean by that is that Kubo's biggest flaw, the author of Bleach's biggest flaw, is that he introduces too many characters and then doesn't know what to do with them. So you heard me mention my boy Hanataro, for example. I'll just use him as an example. He shows up for Soul Society, he has a minor role. He's a healer type character. He gives Ichigo and friends a look into what it's like to be a Shinigami, a Soul Reaper in Soul Society, and then boop, he disappears. Just without warning. There's no character arc, there's no nothing. He just makes this like splash on the scene and he's gone. This is true for basically every single character in Bleach. They make a little splash and then they're gone. I mean, Grimjo, who is a character who plays in the Huekimundo arc, he's notorious for this. People loved Grimjo, and yet he would never show up again in the series in any sort of meaningful big way. So that's Bleach. I love Bleach to pieces. It's a huge part of my childhood, a huge part of my manga growing up experience. But unless you're a super fan of Bleach, I don't recommend it today. Unfortunately, it hasn't aged as well as I think people think it has. Moving on forward to Chainsaw Man. Oh boy. This is my next Land of the Lustrous. Every time I get a volume in the mail, I'm just like, yes, hello. Hello, Chainsaw Man. You are beautiful. You are lovely. So this features the short hotel arc where they're stuck in a hotel for seemingly forever. Very, very creepy arc, that one. And it also introduces the sword demon character. And that fight is ridiculous. That one's really, really fun too. So yeah, Chainsaw Man, as always, highest recommendation. Just as a warning though, this is rated for older teens for a very good reason. Don't go just buying this willy-nilly because it's a Shonen Jump title. It is very mature, so watch out for that. Anyway, moving on forward, speaking of mature stuff, Dead Demons Destruction by Asano, because Asano is amazing and I have to buy this series every time it comes out. I'm just jumping on the series. Asano is incredible. Yeah, and this volume just kicks so much butt. It seems like this series is coming to its conclusion, at least as far as its character development is concerned. I don't want to talk too much about the contents of this volume because if you haven't read the series, you need to check it out. The volumes can be a little expensive, but if you're a serious manga collector like myself, this belongs in your collection. It's just incredible. It's so beautiful, and you'll never get more beautiful manga like this. I wish I could open up the book and show you some of the amazing art, but you'll just have to suffice for that volume cover. If this isn't the best volume of the series, it's easily second best. I just can't sing enough praises for it. I love the series so much, and I just want another volume to come out so, so bad. Again, if you haven't read the series, it's about two girls living in a society where a giant UFO has appeared over Tokyo, and nobody knows what to do with it, and there's radiation and stuff coming off of it, and the two are just trying to be normal girls growing up in this very strange world. Has a lot of COVID vibes for reading it now. Kind of weird how that works. But anyway, moving on forward to Girl from the Other Side. So I believe the last volume is coming out next month, volume 10. It is coming out next month, but I'm pretty sure it's the final volume. Wow. Speaking of COVID, this story is about a plague that turns people into monsters, and this volume broke me emotionally. I am a broken CJ because of this volume. I have a friend who's also reading the series, and we are just crying together. Every time a new volume comes out, we're like, did you read it? Did you read it? It's so sad. Again, high recommendations for Girl from the Other Side. My only complaint about it, and really this is not that big of a complaint, but my only complaint about it is that these volumes are very short. There's not a lot of text. There's a lot of beautiful imagery, but you're going to eat up this volume in like no time. So keep that in mind. If you're looking for a long read, probably not Girl from the Other Side. Probably something like, I don't know, a 3-in-1 of Bleach. But you're going to get better quality from this. Next we have JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Volume 8 of Part 4. This, I believe, is the second to last volume of, Part 4. Gosh, these volumes are beautiful, especially this cover. I love this cover. This might be like one of my favorite manga covers I've gotten in a really long time. Gosh, look at that. That is so cool. Yeah, this has done an amazing job with this release, considering this is an American-only thing. I'm sorry, not American-only thing, a Western-only thing. They didn't get this style of volume in Japan when Part 4 came out. They only got the Jujoniums for Part 1 through 3. So for Viz to kind of make their own like pseudo-Jujonium for us, I think that's just super cool. And I really, really enjoyed rereading Part 4 in these very comfortable, nice volumes. I feel like I can bend these without having to worry too much about the covers getting damaged. So yeah, 10 out of 10 would recommend. I'm excited for that final volume. Next we have, oh my gosh, it's everybody's favorite shonen right now. Oh my gosh, it's Jujutsu Kaisen. Before any of you ask, no, this is not going in my classroom. Absolutely heckin' not. So I got the first volume because I wanted to try it out. And then I watched the anime and I read the manga on the Shonen Jump app. And yeah, it's awesome. It's fun. Just to give my overall thoughts on Jujutsu Kaisen, no story spoilers. This is the kind of manga that I think I really, 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 really would have enjoyed if I was like 12 to about 15, I'd say. Back then, I really liked dark crap. I loved dark crap. And that's not to say that Jujutsu Kaisen is crap by any means. It's good. It's really good, in fact. It's just that this sort of series has that kind of edgy vibe to it, where it's clear that the horror aspect is not necessarily to scare or shock you, but to appeal to a younger audience. Which, again, sounds contradictory. It's like, what are you talking about, CJ? Like, why would an author put in gross, grotesque violence in order to appeal to a younger audience? Well, trust me when I say this. Teenagers love horror. And it's a good thing. If you're a teenager, you love horror, that's awesome. It's just, for some reason, your age groups tend to like it more than adults and kids. So Jujutsu Kaisen really hits that nice specific taste you have. So that's cool. So I kind of regret not reading this sort of thing when I was 12 to 15. You know, I wish I could take this and like send it back in a time machine so I can enjoy it when I was younger, because I feel like I would have enjoyed it a lot more. But that being said, enough of that rant. Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 0. Don't get this unless you've are caught up with the manga, or are mostly caught up with the manga. Volume 0, I really don't like when manga series do these sorts of things because ignorant readers come in, they see that 0, they go, oh, I guess that's the first one I should start with. And no, absolutely not. This features a character who appears much later in the original manga. It's a prequel story that I really enjoyed. I really like some of the characters that appear in this story in the original manga, so it was cool seeing more of them, especially their younger selves. But again, save this for when you're deep diving into the original series. I'm not sure, I'm going to be real with you, I'm not sure specifically when you should read this in the original series, but this character is mentioned quite a bit in the original series, so I guess just read it when you feel like it, but I wouldn't recommend reading it as your introduction to Jujutsu Kaisen. You're going to get kind of confused. Then we have volumes 2, 3, and 4, and I feel comfortable collecting this amount just to support the series. The Shonen Jump app has all the chapters, and personally I feel comfortable enough just reading the series there and enjoying the series on my own pace there, or going back and rereading it on the app. It's cool. I really enjoy it, but it's not like my absolute favorite thing, and I can't see me collecting dozens of volumes like I would for something like One Piece. But before I move on, can we give a shout out to the best girl in Shonen Jump right now? That's right, I'm talking about Nobara. Oh my goodness. Can we? Yes. Best girl. Best girl. There's a reason I'm so excited about Nobara. Not that she's an amazing character, because she is, but she just happens to be an amazing character who's also a girl. As it turns out, when I was growing up, Bleach, I'm pointing at you, female characters in Shonen Jump that had their own agency, that weren't sexualized, that could fight on the same level, if not more, than the boys in their series, were very few and far between. Like, Sakura from Naruto is an absolute joke compared to Nobara. Absolute joke. Even, I would say, and I'm being as kind as I can when I say this, I would say even most of the female characters in My Hero Academia are a joke compared to Nobara. Nobara is amazing. Absolutely amazing. In fact, it was really interesting. The author of Jujutsu Kaisen and Kubo actually had a little fun interview together, and Kubo actually noted, he said, you know, I really don't like the way you write the women in your series, Akutami. And I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't think he was being critical when he said that. I think he was joking around. I think he was like, you know, I like women like Rukio and Orihime that are more demure, that take a more passive role, that aren't as active in the story, where you put them right at the forefront. So I'm excited to see more characters like Nobara. That's my rant on Nobara. Nobara is amazing. Please post how much you like Nobara in the comments. Do it, because she's awesome. Moving on forward to Mermaid Saga. As I mentioned last time, Mermaid Saga is an incomplete series by Rumiko Takahashi. I kind of did this, what I like to call Rumiko Takahashi tour, where I've read Inuyasha, I've read Rama Half, I wanted to check out some of her other series, and Mermaid Saga is easily the best of those series that I checked out. I know that people love Bansini Koku, and I tried my best. I really tried my best to enjoy it, but I couldn't just enjoy it. And there was something about the humor that just really doesn't age well, where Mermaid Saga is a horror. And guess what? Horror stands the test of time. So Mermaid Saga was awesome all the way through, and I really enjoyed it. Again, it never finished, so it kind of leaves on an off note, but for what we got, I really enjoyed it. So Mermaid Saga, good, would recommend. My Hero Academia is good. Primitive Boyfriend. I'm just kidding. So My Hero Academia, volume 26. This is what I like to call kind of a kind of filler volume. I don't mean that in that it is literally filler, but this volume is kind of taking it slow. We're getting to know some of the characters to set up a bigger arc that is coming after this volume. We are a little bit delayed compared to Japan's volume release, so with My Hero Academia, One Piece, and other shonen series, it's kind of hard to review them on my channel because I don't want to talk much about the content that comes after this volume that is legally available for you to read on the Shonen Jump app. But, I mean, it's cool. Endeavor's a great character. I really like Endeavor. Like, Endeavor's awesome. He's really good. So, there you go. Next volume is going to break my heart. That's all I'm going to say. My favorite character's on it. Oh, but that doesn't mean it's a good thing. Next we have Primitive Boyfriend. Oh boy. So my friend gave me this as a gift, specifically so I could review it on this channel. So yeah, you're welcome. Here it is. Here it is. This is what you wanted. It's here. Primitive Boyfriend. Hoo boy. I liked it. I'm gonna be real. I liked it. It was funny. So I saw this cover and I was like, oh no, come on. I'm not into shoujo, much less a shoujo about a Neanderthal dating a high school girl. And so, I mean, that's basically what it's about. It's about a girl who she just is not attracted to any of the boys in the modern day in her high school. So she is sent back in time to find her soulmate, who turns out to be a Neanderthal. Now, from what I understand, there are 3 volumes in this series, and I did look at the volume covers of the 2nd and 3rd volume. And apparently the Neanderthal becomes like a cute boy, which I'm like, oh, come on, like keep him ugly, let true love shine through. But nevertheless, this was a really good volume. I mean, it's funny. There's also like a few heartwarming moments. So Primitive Boyfriend, if you're willing to give it a try, I say go for it. Next we have Satoko and Nada. This is the final volume. I've talked a little bit about this series on my channel. It's basically an informative sort of manga about Saudi Arabia and what it means to be a Muslim. So this is about 2 girls who live in America. They're living in America, going to an American university. One is Satoko, she's from Japan, and Nada is obviously from Saudi Arabia. So because this was written for a Japanese audience, Satoko isn't really highlighted as much. I mean, you're just kind of expected to know what Satoko's all about. So the real focus is on Nada. And something I really enjoy about this series is obviously it's very respectful to Muslims and their culture, but it's also really respectful to the other types of characters. Like they have a Christian friend, and I really liked Satoko's conversations with the Christian friend and like talking about her values and perspectives, being a Christian myself. So this was really cool to read, and I'm super excited to have it in my classroom. I haven't had anybody interested in it yet, unfortunately, but a day may come. We shall see. And hey, speaking of things in my classroom, Spy X Family featuring Bond, the cute and adorable dog. He is so cute. I love Spy X Family, again, as I've said before. It's a really, really great shonen. The art is gorgeous. The comedy is hysterical. I really like the character Bond because much like the rest of the family, he has a secret too. And I don't want to spoil what that secret is, but it really pairs well with the secret of another character, which I really enjoy. But yeah, as always, Spy X Family is amazing. Unfortunately, this volume suffers the Viz curse. Actually, My Hero Academia also suffers the Viz curse. Ugh. Gosh darn Viz curse. Find yourself a nice volume. If this wasn't in my classroom, I definitely would be returning this. Oh yeah, you can even see the page sticking out there. No bueno. Thank you so much for watching this video, and as always, please leave your pickups in the comments below. Until next time, this is CJ, signing off.